Ari, I'm wondering, we were talking to Jim Rutenberg earlier, and he was looking into the Republicans trolling the vote, and also sort of the depth in which some of these beliefs are being held that are not true about voters' problems with the voting process in these states, in these different districts. What do you predict, or what do you see happening on Election Day or playing out, especially in some of these hotly contested states, down on the ground?
Well, just first of all, if you're really winning, you don't have to cheat. If you're really confident that you're going to win outright on election night, you don't have to spend all this time and energy with a pre-buttal set of lies about why everything's rigged. If you're playing well, you're not talking about the refs. So first, we're still 6 days out with the politics. The politics are questionable for any hard-right MAGA Republican types who are this obsessed with telling you in advance two things that are contradictory, like so much of Trump message. They claim they're up. They talk about things like betting markets that have no predictive value. They try to psych everyone out like they did in the midterms red fizzle, while they also say, and even though we're up and we're going to win, also we're so clearly concerned about all of these alleged irregularities. So that's just a political tell. As for how it's going to go down, we've all seen the tight polling in every way you can measure it. And so there's a world where this is tight and takes a long time to get resolved, like last cycle. And there's a world where everyone exhausts their legal remedies. There's also a world where somebody, either side, wins by 3, 4, 5 states. And I think in that environment, nothing in the law, nothing in the precedent, even this right-leaning Supreme Court has ever shown an interest in taking a result that's got a 3 or 4 or 5 state lead and hearing anything, let alone reversing that. And so I think there's a lot of understandable angst out there. If it's a decisive outcome, I don't think there's anything in the courts.
During a rally for Vice President Harris in Philadelphia on Monday, former President Barack Obama validated the issues of concern for certain voting groups, but argued Donald Trump isn't the answer for them. Take a listen.
Okay, if you're a Christian and you care deeply about the abortion issue, I understand that, but does that mean you'll support somebody who seems to violate pretty much every precept of the Ten Commandments? If you are a service member and you're somewhat conservative and you're used to voting Republican, I can understand it, but somebody who genuinely does not believe in duty and honor and does not understand why anybody would sacrifice themselves on behalf of their country, why would you do that? If you're a Muslim American and you're upset about what's happening in the Middle East, why would you put your faith in somebody who passed a Muslim ban and repeatedly suggested that somehow you weren't part of our American community? If you're an African American or Latino, if you're from Puerto Rico and you see somebody whose values seem to indicate that you're not part of their equation, how do you think it's okay? How can you tell yourself it's okay as long as our side wins?
See, that is such a fair question, Donnie. I mean, this, again, with Donald Trump, and I'm not trying to be funny, but at a women's, sort of, I put it in quotes, town hall, he said he was the father of IVF, and, we're going to fix abortion, something that he took health care away from women. He says, I'm the protector of women. My God. Ask a few women across the country, actually hundreds, if not thousands, who are afraid to have babies or are going through hell right now, if he is their protector. I think they'll have a different answer. And again, if you look at what's happened to legal Haitian migrants, to how Puerto Rican Americans are feeling right now after having Puerto Rico trashed by someone at his rally. It's really hard to understand how someone could say, well, faith is having me vote for Trump. Yeah. That doesn't seem honest.
I want to go back to the women thing, and I've said many, many times on the show that I think women are going to push it over the finish line. Tucker Carlson the other night said something in one of his intros that to me is going to be the tone of what this country is like. I think
I know what you're getting at. Yeah.
He got up there. I can't believe that he actually said this. He said he was talking about Trump as daddy, which is a whole weird thing in and of itself. And then he got up and he said, and daddy's coming home and daddy's mad. Mm-hmm. And the little girl has been bad and he's going to spank that little girl.
Vigorously.
Let that sit in. Let that set in.
Wait.
This is what he's...
And then he's going to like it.
And that the level of depravity there. Yeah. And was he referring to Kamala Harris? Was he referring to I don't know what that was, but if that doesn't scare you, as it scares me as a man who loves women and I don't, who's a father of daughters.
Real men behave.
Yeah, I just found that so offensive, and how any woman can hear that and go, yeah, this is the kind of umbrella tone I want in this country. Frightening.
Yeah.
And that's what the Harris campaign's getting at, using the MSG rally as a model for that. Do you want what happened in that room over 3, 4, 5 hours to be the culture of the country, to be the tone, the energy, the insults, the put-downs, the othering of anybody who's not like us? That's the contrast they're trying to draw.
I want to just, because you talked about different groups, I want to talk as a Jew. And to me, as a Jew, we always have to fight for the other, because we were an other for so long. And you may not think you're the other this time, but there are others. And I just can't, as a Jew, vote for somebody whose entire being is about casting hate of others. Yeah. It goes against my faith.
So I want to play something that I found really scary and deeply disturbing. And this is Donald Trump. I think it's in Atlanta. And he talked about Michelle Obama. Take a look.
You know what's nasty to me? Michelle Obama. She was, ooh. I always tried to be so nice and respectful. Oh, she opened up a little bit of a box. She opened up a little bit of something. Oh, she was nasty. Ooh. Shouldn't be that way. That was a big mistake that she made.
Couple of things. I hate replaying that. I hate amplifying it. At the same time, this is the moment. These are the final days before the election. And if we don't talk about these things and make an attempt to break through on the risks, the threats, the dangers of a Trump presidency, who knows? And it still may not be enough. But I know him, and I know how he talks. And I heard what I heard in that statement. Simone, I'll start with you, and then Ari, I'd like to talk to you about the enemy from within, especially in light of what we just played. But Simone Sanders, if you could please respond to what you just heard.
Well, I heard the former president of the United States of America threatening the former first lady of the United States of America, Michelle Obama. And to me, that's unacceptable. I also heard a lie. You know, he said I tried to be very nice and respectful. I don't know how that is possible when Donald Trump literally built his political career foundation on birtherism and questioning the authenticity of the American papers, if you will, of the first black president of the United States of America. So I think this is who Donald Trump is. And it is not ever going to get better. The presidency amplifies who you are. It does not, transform one. And Donald Trump has been president once before. Yeah. And all it has done is shown a light on who he truly is. But look, I think Mrs. Obama knew that coming out and speaking and campaigning would put her squarely in Donald Trump's, ire, if you will. But she said she was there, not just that night in Michigan, but last night even in Atlanta, because she felt the need to make the case. She said she had to do something, and she wanted to take her own advice. So
no,
I
respect her for that. I do, and I'm not surprised by the reaction. But what I am surprised by is how many seemingly serious people are not taking seriously Donald Trump's repeated use of the phrase enemy from within, and yes, I'd use the military or the National Guard. So when you repeat something again and again, and you have fascist-like tendencies, and you say January 6th with a day of love again, and again, and you say abortion bans are a beautiful thing again and again and again, that is called normalization. That's ignoring people. That's actually, it sounds like a joke at first. Maybe he's not serious. And then by the time you realize he's serious, it's too late. So, Ari, on the legal aspects of this, I would worst case scenario this as a lawyer, if you could for us. If Donald Trump is calling people an enemy from within again and again and again, that is, and that he would use the military and the National Guard. I mean, there's a way to do that. There's a way to do that even without evidence, enemy combatants. So how do we look at this? Oh, he's just joking? Are people who are being named by him supposed to say, he doesn't mean it, and it's okay if my buddies, stupid billionaires like Jeff Bezos, vote for him or support him? Like, it's not okay. And how do we get through to people what is going on here? Legally, can you explain how a president could actually use his power, a president who the Supreme Court has given immunity?
I think we have to take it all very seriously, because he's literally telling people what he wants to do, and he has a track record of trying to do many of these things, actually doing some of them, and being stopped sometimes previously by a group of people who are no longer around. And as you pointed out, Mika, courts respond to cases and realities in the country. The Trump reality put forward questions about presidential powers, and this court, with 3 members appointed by Trump and a very right-wing ideology, granted new powers above the law that we've never seen before. So yes, if he's in a second term, it's everything he said he would do. It's the anger and retribution, as he said, I will be a retribution about the things they didn't get done last time. It's the first president to ever interfere with the peaceful transfer of power. He's awaiting trial on those issues in federal court if he loses. It's that person.
He's a convicted felon.
He's a convicted
angry.
felon in New York. He's awaiting sentencing on that. But it's that person supersized by the Supreme Court that says, remember what that ruling holds. Even if you were to go over the line, even if you were to do something that would be potentially criminal, if it's within the broad powers of the president, which, as you just referenced, includes the military, includes the National Guard, and a heck of a lot more, then that can't be pursued or even evidence from that. That is not just a get out of jail free card, that's a commit crime in office card. So that's very serious. The other